Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a basic responsive design site using Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a framework that makes it easy to create basic responsive design websites. Responsive design just means it adjusts based on the device. So this is going to be a one-pager. There are going to be other videos that would show you how you'd create a multi-page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create a new site. So this can be easy to do because, or I should say, you might find this easier because it allows you to set it up on your own. So I'm just going to create a site called mlearning, and so I'm going to then go to site, new site, mlearning, and I'm going to find that folder I just created called mlearning, and there I am. So then I'm going to create file new. I'm going to use framework Bootstrap. I'm going to create new, and then I'm going to make sure I don't have the pre-built selected, so I'm going to hit create. And then what I should see, if I go to that folder, so let's first save this. Let's save this as mlearning. But what I could have showed you already there, but if I go back to this mlearning, which I believe is in here, it's right here, is I just saved this, but you can see that it, because I created a new site, it created this new JavaScript for me and this Bootstrap CSS. So the next thing I'm going to do while I'm here is I'm going to create a new CSS. And I'm going to save this as mlearning. I'm going to save it in my CSS folder. My last step here is I need to attach this CSS file I just created. Because you'll notice that the Bootstrap, when I click there on it, it says it's not writable, so it's locked, because it doesn't want you really messing with that. And so, which is fine. So now that we have a place to do our custom CSS, we're good to go. So we're going to go back to code, going to put the cursor here, going to go to insert. I'm going to do a fluid container. So this is kind of my container that I'm going to use. And go here, I'm going to do a header. And then under this, I'm going to do a grid column. I'm going to change this to 2. And then under that, I got to make space, and I want to make sure that I still have this closing div tag. But I'm going to do a footer. Let's just say that. So this is where I can double check to see if I did it right. When I close this fluid, I should see the bottom of it there, right? See how I can lock everything down? And so that's how I know this looks right. I can also go like this, and okay. So now, because I have this extra CSS up here, I can hand code I want, or I could just use the CSS designer. So I'm just, as an example, going to show you, now that I have 2 CSS, if I click on my mlearning and I click on this for footer, I'm just going to make this a little simpler. I'm going to hit return, going to go to text, going to center it, I'm going to font size, I'm just going to say extra small, and then that's good to go. So you see how that's working. It's basically adding it just like we're used to. We're just not using this Bootstrap CSS. So here, content goes, we're going to create an H2. I'm just going to do an H3 over here. And then where it says content goes here, I'm going to make sure I have a paragraph tag around that. So I'm just going to drag that in. Do the same thing over here. So let's save all. And so I'm going to adjust this now. I'm going to click here on this heading 3, and I'm going to make it a little smaller because I want it basically as an aside. And I'm going to click over here and drag this out. So just like that, I have this kind of 2-column layout with a header and a footer. And so because I used a header tag up here, this is where I could go up here and so maybe the padding top I want to be 30 pixels. So now I'm going to save all and preview it. Every now and then it'll give me this error. I can try it again. If I find the browser is giving me problems, I can try another browser. And if I'm still having problems, what I can always do is I can go to that folder that I have everything in. So websites, mlearning, and I can preview it this way. So I can see there's my heading, my main header, my 2-column layout. I can see that it's adjusting the way I want to. And so that looks good. I mean, you can see on these big screens how it gets kind of funky, but that's the basic of it. So now, if I wanted to, I can add a responsive image, and that's if I want the image to be a big one that's going to adjust. And so I would do that using my insert responsive image. You'll notice the drop down, you have some other options here too. You could also play with jumping out of design mode, and you could go over here, for instance, and go to an insert image, and you can do some other things there. So it's not going to quite adjust the same way, and you're not leveraging all of Bootstrap's capabilities. But when you're new and you're just getting up to speed, this is all you need. And so, but back to this, I could go here and I could change some things here. So body, maybe I want background color. Maybe I want something like and then in this, what I could do just to kind of give you more of an idea is you could then go, if you wanted to, and within this, for instance, you could create a div. Let's say class having a hard time typing. I gotta get rid of that extra there. So basically what I did is I created a div within there, but I called it main, so this is where I could go over here. And I do something like that. So you can play with this, have fun, but hopefully this gives you an idea of how you can work within this Bootstrap framework, using it, leveraging it, and creating a mobile-friendly website. Thanks.